a lot of coffees that are low quality, when you really push that roast, you get like fibers that are burning, you get like things breaking apart, so you get weird herbalness and like medicinal taste. But this coffee, I mean, it's a natural process, and they carefully dried it across, I think, like 30 days almost.
All right, we have the coffee brewed by Mabel here. Let's give it a smell.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
People that like maybe a more traditional style of roast, this can help open up to more nuances that you can get out of a dark roast. I think sometimes with, say, maybe more traditional coffee, it's pretty single dimensional. You just taste a lot of that earthy, pure chocolate flavor, but we wanted to make sure that there's still nuance.
All right, well, let's give this a taste. Cheers. Okay, hello, welcome back. We are here with Moonwake Coffee Roasters, and today we have this really nice coffee that we will talk a bit about. But if you guys have never heard about Moonwake before, I wanted to do a bit of a reintroduction. So, hello.
Hey everyone. Hey, my name's Mabel. This is Ming. We are the co-founders of Moonwake Coffee Roasters. We are based here in San Jose, California. We're currently in our cafe roastery as well. So welcome to the cafe, and hope to serve you all in person sometime.
Yeah, and this is a really nice coffee that we just want to brew and showcase. We've done releases with Moonwake before, and we've seen some of those coffees, like people really enjoyed those coffees. And this is a coffee that I think is going to kind of round out this Bay Area micro roaster feature that we're doing with a bunch of our roasting partners. And let's talk a little bit about this coffee. What we're going to do today is we're just going to talk a little bit about this coffee, brew it, and taste it, just like fun stuff, right? We want to showcase what is out there in the coffee world, and this is a coffee that I think that offers a lot and really is going to give people this nice comforting flavor profile that people enjoy. Very different than some of the coffees we have featured from you in the past.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Very opposite end of the spectrum.
Yes.
But, we definitely pride ourselves on treating dark roast and medium roast to the same level of standards that we have for light roast, and that is definitely shown with this coffee here from Finca La Benedicion. So for those of you who don't know, this is a farm in Nicaragua. They are truly stellar. They've won COE, I believe, in 2018, and they basically place in Cup of Excellence almost every year. This past year, I think there were 6. So it's a very small farm, medium-high elevation, but exceptional quality. They put a ton of care, and this is one of their Pacamaras, which we found super interesting when we were profiling. Had a lot of acidity actually, but just a ton of body and a little bit of spices. But as we roasted it more and more, it transformed into just like amazing nougat, like dark chocolate and like toasted almonds. So it's a stellar showcase of what peak specialty coffee can be if you treat it with as much care when you roast it more dark. So yeah, we're excited to brew and taste them today and to share it with you guys.
Yeah, and this is a coffee that is going to perform well when you brew it, but also can serve really well as a milk base, base for your milk drinks if you want to pull out on espresso and all of that. On a side note, this is also a cool representation of what good specialty dark roast is, where it's like you get all of those really nice comforting flavor notes like chocolate, nougat, toasted almonds and all of that without any of the harshness. Let's go ahead and brew this coffee. Let's grind it, smell it, and talk about that. All right, so we got it ground. I get a lot of nice dark chocolate, definitely a toasted nuts, toasted almond in there, but sweet.
Very, very sweet.
Yeah.
When you get some dark roast and you put sugar in it to try to get it to like mask some of the bitterness, like you get that smell without any artificial sugar whatsoever.
Yeah, and there also isn't, I'm not really smelling anything harsh as well. That's the thing with some of these darker roasted coffees is like when you roast them, really, really dark, you can get a lot of harshness.
I mean, we're always looking for something that pairs really well with milk and a latte with a nice thick espresso, but a lot of coffees that are low quality, when you really push that roast, you get like fibers that are burning, you get like things breaking apart, so you get weird herbalness and like medicinal taste. But But this coffee, I mean, it's a natural process, and they carefully dried it across, I think, like 30 days almost. So it has really great integrity, and it could really take like heat and still hold like a ton of sweetness even at that level. So we have a brew guide online that also has special callouts for brewing a dark roast. We tend to prefer doing a much tighter ratio. I think this is like 1:14, something like that. And we're also using much lower temperature. You can get a lot of that sweetness and body out without having high temperatures. It reduces any chance of pulling out any excessive bitterness. So we're brewing at 82 degrees right now.
And also what I have observed, and if you are more coffee keen and you have tasted Pacamara before, if you look at the beans, they're usually really big, and there's a ton of juiciness and lots of sugar in there. And in something like a dark roast, it's just emphasized sweetness, sugar.
Yeah, sometimes you really want to just reach for something that's a bit more familiar, a bit more sweet, nothing too you have to think about too hard. And this one certainly delivers, and it has a really high body to back it up. Really nice creamy mouthfeel. Definitely don't be alarmed if you get this bag and you open up and you see that the beans are 4 times larger than normal. It is not genetically modified. These are just the Pacamara varietal. One of the few that are just naturally very large cherries producing very large beans.
All right, we have the coffee brewed by Mabel here. Let's give it a smell.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I mean, as I was saying earlier, chocolate bar, dark chocolate bar, sweet, but at the back, no harshness, no weirdness going on here. Smooth, right?
No burnt like smells or aromas. No like you can tell like things have fallen apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we don't get that like overly roasted almond. It's more of that sweet, as we mentioned, like nougat and more of those like more sweeter elements, which is really nice. And I think with people that like maybe a more traditional style of roast, this can help open up to more nuances that you can get out of a dark roast. I think sometimes with, say, maybe more traditional coffee, it's pretty single dimensional. You just taste a lot of that earthy, pure chocolate flavor, but we wanted to make sure that there's still nuance, in this, and it's interesting. Whether you want to drink it by itself or even if you want to pair it with, say, like a really nice dessert. Those, I think, like a cup of coffee is always a really great pairing with some really nice desserts.
Yeah. All right, well, let's give this a taste. Cheers.
Yeah, really nutty, just in terms of, but it's not like that burnt nut. And then with brewing it at a lower temperature, that really helps prevent it from getting over extracted and a lot of those like bitter compounds that sometimes you might get. And that kind of like roasty, quote unquote, like roasty flavor.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that I'm experiencing is chocolate forward. Cocoa, a dark chocolate bar. I keep saying a chocolate bar of a higher percentage of cacao in there, but there is nuance in here. Like we're talking, there's chocolate forward, and then there are a lot of more nuanced notes like the almond that's underneath, and then the finish is actually really clean. It's sometimes with these dark roasts you get that harshness or kind of weird taste. This is just like a really nice sugar it's kind of like a chocolate that's just melting on your tongue, and it's just going and going and going, and that is what is on your palate there. This is a great coffee. Wow.
Yeah, one big call out that I really love about this coffee and how it turned out is just the creamy aspect to it. There's like that dark chocolate with that really pleasant cacao type of bitterness, but there's also just this like cream, like you're eating like a Three Musketeers bar or something that has like just like a really creamy nougaty type aspect, and it lingers on your tongue for a really long time in a really pleasant way. So especially if you're eating, like Mabel said, if you're eating a dessert or you're pairing this with food, just like that really pleasant chocolatey aftertaste lasts a long time.
I feel like dark chocolate has then become something more like milk chocolate in this. It feels like it's gotten even sweeter than it was before, but still very chocolate forward. And this is a coffee that you also can push in a variety of directions. Oftentimes when we when we do the videos and we talk about coffees with stuff like light roast, we're like, oh, you can present light roast in so many different ways. But even with these darker roasted coffees, you can totally present them in a variety of ways. Like, the way that Mabel is brewing here is definitely, super sweetness, chocolate, sweetness forward. But you could push this coffee in a variety of ways too. And I think the easiest thing to do is just, play with the ratios on this coffee, or, different brew methods. But this coffee feels like even at those large or higher ratios, you're still gonna get such big juiciness, sugar, sweet, chocolate, milk chocolate. And this is just a really, really tasty dark roast. Thank you so much for spending the time to watch this video. And thank you, Mabel, and thank you, Ming, for doing this video and for releasing this beautiful coffee with us. And we hope you guys enjoy it, and we'll see you in some future releases as well. And yeah, all right, bye.
Enjoy.